Hey everyone, and welcome back to U5 BP Guru. Today we're going to be taking a look at our lovely tall grass here that we've created. It's actually quite big. It's bigger than the bushes that spawn in. If I run around, it comes up to about waist height. So you can kind of notice, you do notice that it is the tall grass we should be running around in. Now, what I really want to do is try starting to get some form of an encounter, and what I really would like is to use this common functions to drive that, which is what we're going to be using to drive our damage at some point. But we'll rename this first function encounter because I don't think I do want to do this actually. I think I'm going to do it through a BPI. That's how I'm going to do it. And we'll call this, because then we can call it as a message. And we'll call this new function we'll call this encounter info. And what we're doing is, normally with a spawner you would have it spawn the mesh in the world at a random location, but what we want to do is we want it to spawn information so that when we go into our next level, which will be our battle scene, it can drive all that information to spawn in the creature that we're looking for. So we'll need some inputs into this message, one of which is going to be no, we don't, because we'll just run this code. We want some outputs eventually, but we'll come across that in a moment. But we just want to be able to call this BP class in our what we're going to create now, which is our spawner or encounter. So we want an actor. We want it to be encounter underscore BP, and we're going to create, we will eventually create some children of these, so we can have like route 1 spawners, route 2 spawners, and things like that. So let's open it up, and the first thing we're going to add in is a collision box, because we will put these over wherever we have our grass. So let's just make it like that, and we'll drag it out into the world just for now. Now, as I said, we'll make some adjustments. So one of the things I want to be able to do is define what creatures we can get on the route, and then we want to check. We want to get our creature master and run through until it grabs those creatures, and then we want it to kind of like pick one. So the best way for me, I'm thinking, to do this is we need to define a Pokedex, right? So I'm going to do an enumeration. Yeah, we'll do enumeration, and we'll call this list with a Ringmon list. And this will be, we'll literally just add a bunch. First one being her badger. The next one will be his evos. The next one will be tail flame. And then the third one will be Oster. I'll keep the other evolutions under wraps for now. So now that we have this, what we can do is we can call that variable in here. We'll call it e ringmon list, and we'll set the typing to that e. We'll call it, what do we call it? Ringmon list. And then if we compile that, we can set this to be whatever we want. But we need a couple more slots. So I think what's probably better to do is now we create a structure, wherever it is, and we call this root1. I will need to know this up, by the way. I should have put underscore strat, but that's fine. And then what we can do actually instead is go ringmon list, and we can call this encounter1, and then you can just add these in depending on how many different Pokemon you want on each route. So I'm going to set this up to be 3 as a whole, but you can add more in on the different routes. I spelled that wrong. Encounter 3. And then if we go to our defaults, we can then set these to be whatever creatures we want from our Pokédex, right? So we can basically choose which creatures are going to show up where, just from this. Then what we want to do is come back to our encounter BP. We want to get the class settings for where is it? Class settings, right? Yeah, it is class settings. Add interfaces. So let's go encounter BPI. There we go. So now we can grab all of that stuff that we need, like the interface, etc. So what do we want to have happen? So if I get rid of that, let's put in encounter list, and we'll change this typing now to our strut, which is ringmon. Let's put in strut. Have I not compiled it? What did we call it? Let's just double check what we called it. Route 1. We called it Route 1. Okay, so we want to change this to Route 1. There we go. And now if we compile, we should have a list of encounters that we want. Now this is automatically set up to her Badgertail, Flame and Oster in the default, so we can keep that. When we have different Pokemon, I mean, you could set, we could have a none option and set it to none, so that if it is none, it doesn't take anything from that. So the next thing we want to do now is get our usual collisions. Begin overlap and end overlap. There we go. And we're obviously cast to third person character. And again, other actor, third person character. And I want to check, once we've done this, what we really want to be doing is setting up a timer. And when that timer runs, it will start the encounter, but just for today, we're going to do a delay. Just for now. Don't need to worry about that one, actually. So we'll give it a second, and then we're going to create a new variable called encounter ring. That'll be a type boolean. We might need that later, actually, but let's just set that in a minute. We also want to call it in range and set. so that it knows we're in some tall grass. And when we're in range, again, I'd normally start a timer of some sort, but I just want to test that the actual encounters work. So what we need to have happen is we need to get our list of encounters, and we need to break route 1. So those encounters are already set up to something here, and we need to check that it's this. It kind of applies to wherever it is. The oh gosh, where am I? I need to find out what the name is. So all of the information we have is set up within our creature strut. So we want to call that as well. So we'll call it creature info, and we'll get that creature strut, and we're going to get that. We also want to break this one's info, right? And then that'll give us all of these variables to play with. I kind of paused the video, I went back and kind of looked at a better way of doing what I was doing. And what I came up with is I'm getting all of our actors of class to get the creature info from there, because I found that when I set everything up and got it working, it wasn't pulling any information through. And the reason was because I wasn't pulling through this actual strut. So all I'm doing is getting all actors of class, getting our master BP so it checks everything, every creature we've got, doing a for each loop so it goes through every single one of them, and then I'm getting our encounter list and checking it through there. Now I have changed the creature strut to the Ringmon list to get the name, so we'll use this now as a drive for every name for every creature in the game, so that way it matches up just that little bit more efficiently, because I found when I had the name typed up, it was coming back with false, it wasn't picking them up. So if I get this, so this is set up to be Oster at the moment. If I now walk into the grass, it should check and it finds Oster. So it's automatically now double checking that these names are set up to be the encounter. The next thing we want to do is get rid of the print string for a second, because we know that's working. Is we want to check this 3 times, and I'll do that again, and then the name goes just into Why are you doing this to me, game? Let's unplug all these and plug the name in first. I don't know why it doesn't like that. Plug the name in first. Just plug in the name first. It will save you apparently some heartache. Yeah, weirdly it changes. It promotes the byte to integer weirdly. Maybe I clicked the wrong option. I don't know. But there we go. And then all we need to do is get an OR boolean. Add in 3 pins. So what it's doing is it's checking the names against these 3 encounters are true. Okay, and then we'll do a branch. We will do a branch in here to make sure that they match up. Now I'm going to just do, before I put the branch in, just going to make sure that this all comes back true. It should all come back true. It should find every one of them. And then yay, there we go. So it's picked up, it's basically gone through the list of creatures we have created, and it's come back to make sure that those creatures exist basically in our content drawer. It's making sure that these are confirmed created, okay, compared to the ones we want to spawn in. That's what we're doing first, okay. And then if that's true, we want to create a new array called encounter. We'll call it the encounter array, I guess is fine. And we want to set this up to be an array. Right. We want this to be an actor type, and we want this to be an array. Right. Okay, that's what we want to do, and we want to set that array. Or we want to, if true, we want to add unique to this actor array. And the new item we want to add is this. And then the next thing I want to print is that array. Print string. And the string we want to do is that. Okay? So what should happen is it's going to go through every one of these and check that it matches to our encounter list. If that's true, it should add a unique version of whatever it's just found into this array, our encounter array. And from there, what we'll be able to do in the next episode is call that array 02012 -1. Okay. Okay. We want to get array. We'll get copy. Get a copy of this array, and we want to do that. Get display name, right? Let's try that. Okay, so it's right. Okay. So it's printing. It was doing what I wanted it to. The camera needs sorting out. I know it's a bit all over the place. So we walk in. It adds those three to our array, but it's only going to add one, right? So what's happening is. The reason it's only coming up once is because it's adding a unique. So if I leave the grass and enter the grass, it's going to not add another one because there's already one in there, and that's good because we don't want to add multiples. That's why I used unique, but that also explains why the print string is coming back like that. But what we want to do is when we enter the grass, we probably want to get our array and remove items. And the items we want to move is probably okay, no, that's fine. Can we remove all items? Remove item at the given index from the array. Remove all instances of item from array. Yeah, that's what we want to do. And we just want to remove everything, right? And we could probably, we might have to do it the same way where we go through everything, remove all items, blah blah blah, from this. And then we add them back in. Let's just try that. Wait there. Right, we've moved out. We go in. We get those three very. Yeah, so it seems to be doing it pretty well. Because we're not. I think the problem with that gap was because we're not looking for whatever was in the encounter. Now, I'm thinking a better way to do this though would be to do this actually when we leave the grass instead. Let's just let's break it, add that back in. So because we don't really need to necessarily sort out our encounter rate. Oh gosh, I've muddled this up a little bit. There we go, that's a bit better. So yeah, we can just do that when we leave the grass. So once all this is done and we've got our array, what we need to do now is pick a random number out of the array. So what we'll do is probably get our array, we'll get a random index from it, and then we'll just print out. But we'll start looking at that in the next episode. But so far, what's happening is the game is, when we enter the grass, it's checking what we've got set up as our encounter for Route 1, our encounter list for Route 1. It's checking all that information, and then what it's doing is it's getting all of those lists, and it's just adding it into an encounter array that we can now use to. Is it removing anything? I don't think so. And it doesn't obviously re-add them in. Okay, all actors, it should loop them through. Oh, it's because, oh my god, I'm such an idiot, I didn't plug it in. Jeez. Simple fixes, eh guys? Simple fixes, right? Let's walk back in. Yeah, walk out. It's removed them all. We walk back in. It's reset them. Right, okay, that's working fine. Great, that's amazing. So the idea behind this now is that we can actually duplicate this for the different routes, and then just literally change this to Route 2, Route 3, Route 4, 5. So I could actually expose that, thinking about it, and then we can change that on the fly outside of the world. Great, so that's working. So hopefully you guys found that useful. This is how we basically get the Pokemon we want and their information into those encounter we need. And then from there, all we need to do now is pick a random encounter to play out when we are ready for it. Now, I would like to set this up via a timer, but I'm not going to do the timer until we know everything's working, because timers are a little bit funny on their own as it is. But basically what I'm going to do now is from here, I want to now basically pick something random, okay? So I might put a lot of this code into a separate formula, and then have it just so that it plays that formula here. And then from there we'll set up another formula that basically picks the Pokemon and tells us which Pokemon is picked. We'll also set up a shiny 1 in 4096 chance of doing that as well. But sorry, another long episode, but hopefully it's been useful to you guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and of course subscribe if you haven't already. It's free to do. You can always change your mind down the line. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye.